Yuck. Let's get a shot of that smoke up there. Oh, I think I'm going to leave for a while while the soot settles. That's cool. And that right there is molten iron. No, sorry, solidified iron. Gee. Okay, this one doesn't have a source of ignition. It's just a mixture of catalyzed by some acid. The sirens are not for me. In addition to all these exploding demos, which went off like I expected them to, shattering glass and all, I did one that simply oozes. Now, like I said, I'm really cautious and I think things through, and I know what I'm doing. This one gives off aerosolized concentrated sulfuric acid as a byproduct, so it's a good idea not to breathe it in, and I was doing it in the fume hood. I did 3 or 4 takes, each time setting aside the jar when I was done with it. So I'm done with all the takes, and everything went as expected, and I'm standing about 10 feet away from the fume hood, messing with the video camera, when a gunshot goes off. The jar that I had used 20 minutes before exploded like a bomb, shooting carbon-gooed, concentrated acid-coated shards of glass the length of my 40-foot room, including all along my left side from 10 feet away. Here's the aftermath in the fume hood after I came back the next day. Right after the explosion, I'd inspected the room to make sure everything was stable, and then I left to let it air out and let me settle down. Seemed like a good time to take a break. Now, I'm a pretty smart guy, and I've been doing this for a few years. This is a demo that oozes and sizzles. It doesn't explode. If someone had told me third hand that it had happened to their buddy's colleague, I would have been sure that they'd gotten their story mixed up, because I couldn't have even come up with an explanation that would have this demo exploding that violently. I would have judged it to be impossible. And I would have been wrong, like we humans sometimes are. In fact, it was only by being forced by the very undeniable evidence on my left side to acknowledge that it was possible that I was even able to later construct a feasible explanation for what happened, because I simply couldn't accept the conclusion, nope, not possible, when my understanding of the chemistry led me to that. The reason I'm telling you this is, when it exploded, I was still wearing all my safety equipment, even though I was finished with the demos. And boy, was I glad that I tend to play better safe than sorry, rather than going with what's more convenient, so that I still had on the gear out of simple habit. Because then I was protected a bit from my misjudgment, a judgment I wasn't even aware I had made because it was an assumption. By definition, unconscious. That's the insidious part. Assumptions are the things you don't know you have. That is exactly why they can be so dangerous. Could you be holding any of those in the debate about climate change? If there's ever a time to be conscientiously self-critical, it is now, with this issue. So I've learned it's in my interest to be brutally honest with myself and ask, what if I'm wrong? What would be the consequences then? I try to employ that thoroughness and humility in my approach to the debate about what action to take on global climate change. Please, join me in that. And if not, still, well, then I'll see you in your final video. How it all ends, no holds barred.